You're listening to the Country Viewpoint here on Flow FM. Well, we saw the ACCC release a report last week detailing the record harvest and how it's led to an increase in bulk grain exporters. So we thought we'd catch up with Tim Gurney again. He's the manager of Teaports, to find out all about how receivals are going during this harvest period, as well as talking a little bit about the value of competition in the field.
We're looking at, obviously we're probably 3/4 of the way through a record crop on the Eyre Peninsula. So we're pushing well north of 4 million tonnes. Production on the EP, about 3.3 million tonnes was produced in 2016. So, that ACCC estimate you spoke about prior, 22 to, even 30% above the record, certainly in our zones, not out of the question.
So is there any correlation here between, the prolonged harvest period and the kind of results that we're seeing? I mean, I know for a fact that in the New South Wales, in various parts of the New South Wales, including the Riverina, they're forecasting that harvest might not end until April of 2023. So does that come into play at all here?
Not really. There's been some really good weather the last 3 weeks. Obviously, we had a pretty wet November, and there's a few people started to panic a bit. There's some quality issues that could have been, had throughout the crop. But it's been a dry December, and the next few days are pretty dry. So we'll get through the majority of the crop now. Pretty steadily. The grain's been coming in certainly in a pretty aggressive manner. Truck-wise and just through the sites. The staff have been fantastic, and I guess the Eyre Peninsula has really benefited from the extra storage capacity and choice that Teaports has brought onto the scene the last couple of years.
Can you talk us through the fact that obviously Teaports provides good competition for a staple hold like Viterra, who have been in the headlines a lot recently, and this all obviously adds to, benefits for grain handlers. Just tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the growers are the winners of competition every day of the week, So we introduced, a new port at Lucky Bay 4 years ago, nearly finished our port at Wallaroo, within this season. And, from our perspective, we build the infrastructure. The grain traders come on board and develop their pricing plans for the sites and the supply chains. We build the infrastructure in the ports and the upcountry sites. The growers have choice then, and it's all played out on the price board, mate, at the end of the day. So, growers are the winners when they got more choices, and that's what has occurred with Teaports being on the scene.
Well, we've seen 2 very strong years with regards to fantastic results that are now being published. So how do you sort of forecast the next 12 months or so, Tim?
Well, I think you asked me that question the other week, mate, and I was trying to find my crystal ball. But, look, I think there'll still be a little bit of moisture around next season, given the high moisture this season. So there might be a good start to next season with some subsoil moisture. Farming practices have changed dramatically in the last, 5 or 6 years with, deep ripping and spading and delving and clay spreading and, zero till. Farmers have put themselves in the best possible position to benefit from rain, the large rain events, and that's what's occurred this year, and the yields are the end result of that. So, nothing will change next year. They'll still try and better what they do, and, we get an average rainfall next year. It'll still be a very good year for the Eyre Peninsula.
Tim Gurney, the manager of Teaports, he'll update us on some of the other occurrences going on in-house at Teaports after this break. You're listening to the Country Viewpoint here on Flow FM, and we've been chatting with Tim Gurney, the manager from Teaports. Here he is updating us on the latest in-house matters from within the company.
Well, the Kimber site's probably been a highlight for us, and Lock as well, but, Kimber, we built that 14 months ago. We doubled its storage capacity before harvest, and 3 weeks ago we had to build another 2 bunkers. One of those is already full, so we're on our last bunker at Kimber. So, that's over 120% capacity increase in the last 14 months. Lock, we're building 2 more bunkers here, and the first bunker will be ready to go probably tomorrow night. So, if the growers keep delivering, we keep building to support our growers. That's what we're about. We'll grow together.
And I'll just grab your thoughts on this. We did see in the ACCC article that was distributed last week that there's a passage here of writing, I'll quote it, bulk grain port terminal facilities are essential infrastructure in the export wheat supply chain. If access constraints emerge at bulk grain port terminal facilities, or operators use monopoly powers to charge higher prices, the competitiveness and profitability of affected wheat producers and exporters is at risk. Is there any reaction that I can get there from you?
Oh, not from Teaport's perspective, Ellis. We're just the local SA new player on the block. The small local that's making a big difference at the moment. So, for us, it's just about supplying more export capacity to our traders with the infrastructure that we build, and the growers, supporting them in their pricing endeavours and delivering to our sites.
Just in regards to the 2023 timeline, Tim, we're obviously well into harvest now. How do things look throughout the next few months?
Really good. Yeah, I think, harvest is 75% done on the Eyre Peninsula pretty much across our catchment zone. So, and shipping now, we've loaded our first vessel out of Lucky Bay, and we've got another one behind that and another one behind that again just after Christmas. So we'll be busy unloading and exporting this harvest crop in readiness to receive the next one.
Tim Gurney, the manager of Teaport, speaking to us there off the back of the ACCC's report highlighting that Australia's bulk grain exports were 40.6 million tonnes for 2021-22 and exceeded the previous season's records by 22%. This followed a total grain production in 21-22 in Australia of 65.7 million tonnes, which was an increase of 11% on the previous record in 2020-21. Lovely to speak with Tim again. Sounds like things are pretty healthy. Well, on the other side of this break, we'll wrap up the Country Viewpoint for this Thursday. So stay tuned. You're listening to the Country Viewpoint.